Excuse how I look right now. I didn't get dressed yet, but my neighbor upstairs decides to continue my day because I just got up from a nap. My lovely, quiet neighbors, yeah, right, decided that it was cool to start sawing wood and hammering upstairs. And it's not the association, because I checked. They always let us know what's going on. Well, for the most part. Hear that? That's actually quieter now. Plus, I woke up with a headache. Oh, I think it's gonna be one of those days. So bear with me, guys. Hello everyone, this is Jenny Edo from the Pixie Post, and I'm back with another exciting Pix vlog. I wanted to welcome you all back to my channel. If you're new here, feel free to click like and subscribe. That does help my channel grow, and I'd love to have you along for the journey. Today has been quite a day, and once again it's only 12:12 p.m. I have switched my work schedule to a very, very different type of setup. I am partially on European time right now, and the reason why I've been doing this is because I've noticed that in the wee hours of the morning for me, I've been getting a lot of work done, a lot of curating done, a lot of brainstorming done, and just little odds and ends that I always need to get done but never seem to get to. And so I've been getting up in between 12:45 a.m. to 2 a.m. on a late day, and I notice when I wake up at 2, that really messes me up, which is strange. And then I'm usually in bed by 6 or 7 at night. Occasionally I'm up a little bit later because I'm doing something or I'm really just trying to unwind. Now, I don't know how much longer this schedule will work because my body is starting to feel it a little bit, but I'm going to continue as long as it works because I'm getting so much more done. It's more uninterrupted work. And it really got me to thinking of all the distractions that a lot of us have to deal with and a lot of things that people demand from us. And that's just part of human life existence. We always have demands put on us for one reason or another. Maybe we're a parent, or a small business owner, or we're a spouse, or a friend that is helping another friend through a hard time. Whatever it is, we always have some kind of demands that are put upon us. And it's not always a bad thing. I really, really consider it humbling when someone knows that they can depend on me for emotional support, physical support, or what have you. But there does get to be a time, especially if you're in business for yourself, that you have to put up those boundaries and actually look out for yourself a little bit, especially when it comes to working on your schedule. And I've been doing a lot of trial and error type of things, and for now this European way of time has been really working for me. And it really made me think when I'm going through my very early morning work uninterrupted for the most part, I have to take a step back and start looking at how I'm approaching things with others that I know and that are in my life. A lot of people know I'm in business for myself now. It's recently become full-time. I love it. It's so fulfilling already. However, I've noticed that even though my family and certain friends who are not in the same line of work as myself, they all understand that I do this kind of work, and they're actually pretty supportive for the most part. But they don't seem to understand that when I get a text during some work hours I set for myself, or they'll email me something. Oh, hey, can you look at this real quick? Or, oh, hey, look at this. I was thinking of you. And there's a cute little GIF or a little video. And while I'm very grateful that I'm being thought of, it kind of interrupts my flow. So I've done other videos on distractions and how to go about them. But I've noticed there are a couple other little pointers that I've discovered in myself that I wanted to share with you guys. One thing is, don't be afraid to set boundaries. Don't be afraid to say, look, these are my work hours. This is the time I have to be able to have a phone conversation or converse or what have you. But during these particular hours, that is my work time. It's non-negotiable. And when you start setting little boundaries not in a mean way, but just in an assertive way, you'll start taking back your own power and start being able to commit your work to those particular hours without or minimal distractions. There are a lot of people who mean well. My family in New York really get it. They kind of understand a lot more than they used to, so they don't really interrupt me much. If they do text or email, it's usually at night when I'm winding down anyway, so it kind of works out. And I allow myself to have that time for them because I still want to keep up those relationships and not have the business aspect take over my whole life. Having said that, lately things have been so crazy busy. I've been super pumped up for a lot of things going on Hive, the blockchain I work on, and as well as my channels. And things have been hustle lately. And while I have a lot of energy, I'm really good at doing that for a short period of time. But then eventually I start feeling the effects, and they're not always a positive thing. I start getting really tired. I start wanting to sleep more. I don't eat as well as I should because I don't have time to prepare meals. And I've also noticed my house is not exactly the neatest right now. You're seeing a neat section, and while it's not that much worse than what you're seeing here, it still bugs me. Clutter, physical clutter, bugs me. And then I can't work in the way I want to, because it's almost like mental clutter. If you have physical clutter around you, it is going to affect you. You won't be able to work as efficiently because you're worried about that, or it's in your way, or what have you. So I noticed that in time I'm going to need to make more tweaks to my schedule and to the way I do things. So taking a break here and there really helps, or just slowing yourself down totally. It's a matter of prioritizing what's the most important to you. And that's a trap a lot of us seem to fall into. When we start prioritizing things, we don't always prioritize what's important to us, to ourselves. We tend to also go by what's important to others, or what others tell us they think that's important for us. And while input is always a good thing, it's always good to have a team to work with, which I feel is the ultimate key to success. It's hard to do it all by yourself, which I'm finding to be the case more and more nowadays. It's really important that we take a step back and look at what's important to each one of us. Just because someone might think we're a good fit for a project or a program or what have you, doesn't always mean it is. Again, it can be very well intentioned, and most of it is. However, when you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. So when you say yes to certain things, you have to really think whether that's important to you, whether you can prioritize it, whether you could think of it as a long-term goal or a certain time period. It's almost setting boundaries for yourself, not just with others. And it's a really, really important thing to keep in mind in order to have long-term success. because when you start doing something for somebody else and your heart's not entirely into it, or after a few days you're kind of like, oh, what did I get myself into? That's when you start going down the rabbit hole and it's hard to get back out. So what I do now is when I am going to say yes or no to anything, I won't answer right away. I used to do that like 100% of the time. Oh yes, I'll do this. Yes, 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 and it was exciting and I enjoyed it, and then I burn out. So, as I mentioned in my last video. So, I think it's really important that you give yourself at least a day to, if you can, to step back and go, okay, let me think of the pros and cons. And it doesn't mean you have to overthink it, because usually you can trust your first instinct. If you feel a way towards something, it's not always a decision with your mind or your ego. Your heart can actually tell you a lot. And I've been relying more on my intuition lately, and it's really been helping. And so if that person truly understands, they will give you that time to decide. If it's one of those things that they throw something at you and expect you to participate like that second, that's up to you whether you do that or not. But it's one of those things you should at least take a couple minutes to think, okay, does this fit into what my goals are? Does this fit into my schedule? If I add this, what am I saying no to? Or should I say no to something else? It's a whole list of questions, and sometimes I'll just think it through, and other times I'll write it down, depending on how serious the situation is. And I'm starting to get back into that mentality of not answering right away and doing what's best for me. People bring things to me, business-wise or personal-wise, that's going to take a lot of my time. And I have to ask myself, okay, is it going to take me for something I'm already working on or something I'm very passionate about? When you start doing critical thinking and asking yourself these questions and not just automating your answers, you'll start feeling your own power come back. You'll start doing what's best for you and your dreams and your goals. And honestly, it's not always going to be somebody who will accept that. Some people might feel miffed that you don't say yes. And it's unfortunate, it's sad. Most of the time it's not even personal. But if they take it that way, sometimes you have to just go, it is what it is. Because it's better than you going full force into something you're not very passionate about or you don't have time or energy for, that takes away from everything else that you're trying to produce. And then you fall flat on your face in the middle of it, and it lets both parties down. So I wanted to share that information with you because it really hit home for me today. I've been really starting to feel the effects of being so much busier than I normally am. And while I really enjoy it, I like being busy, there comes to a point I start noticing old patterns coming up and exhaustion and fatigue starting to kick in little by little. It's creeping back. So I know after my engagement on Tuesday, I'll just have to change things up. Now, it doesn't mean I won't be doing videos. It doesn't mean I won't be on Hive. I just might be more selective in my interaction and my posting. And sometimes that's not a bad thing. Sometimes we need to just be. Read, watch TV, sit out on your deck or your patio and just enjoy nature and the fresh air. Just remember why you're here and why you're doing all this. And sometimes that alone, even just taking a day a week, can really refresh your soul. A friend of mine does that every Saturday. Takes Sabbath and he reconnects with his faith. He spends time with his family. He, for the most part, unplugs, except when he absolutely has to do that. And I think it really helps him a lot get back into a better mindset for the following week. He can tackle that with a fresher perspective. He's not worn out and not depleted of his own energy. So, I think that's what I'll be doing. I'm still trying to choose a day of the week or weekend that works for me, because it always seems like something pops up on the day I'm trying to do it. Anyway, I love you guys. I hope you're all doing well, and take care of yourself, take care of one another, and keep hiving on. Until the next time, to know thyself is to know thy truth. Namaste.